Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to install MongoDB. So I've had MongoDB installed on my computer before, but since then I have reformatted it, so I'm going to reinstall it, and I figured I might as well just record the process. So in this case I'm installing it on a install with Lubuntu. Actually no, I have Xubuntu, which is a version of Ubuntu. So basically you'd go to the Mongo docs to figure out how to install it in your particular operating system. So you see here, install Linux, install on Mac OS, install Windows. I'm doing Linux. My particular flavor of Linux is a flavor of Ubuntu, so I'm going to use that. Now keep in mind, if you are using Linux on Windows, so Windows has this thing called Windows Subsystem for Linux that allows you to kind of create like a virtual machine within Windows to use Linux. That's not going to work, or at least it's not supported. You might get it to work, but there is no promise that it will. So keep that in mind. Okay, so if you're looking, hey, I want to install this on Linux, but I'm using Windows Subsystem for Linux, you might have a problem. Okay, cool. So let's go to Ubuntu. Now, if you use any of these other versions of Linux, you can just click on the one you need and figure it out. Install on Ubuntu. Let's do it. Okay. So let's see, use this tutorial, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Got it. Here we go. So, okay, so first thing we got to do is we actually have to go grab the file. Okay, so this command here is going to import the key we're going to need. So let me actually open up a terminal. Boop. So I'm going to copy that. Copy. Okay. Paste. Oh, gotta put in my sudo password. Okay, that did the thing. So got the key. Okay, responded with okay. That's exactly what it did. So far, so good. Okay, and then there wasn't an error, so we don't have to do this. But if you do get an error, that you would do that. So step 2, we need to create a list file for MongoDB. So where is the command? Okay, create the list file for your version of Ubuntu. Click the appropriate tab for your version of Ubuntu. Okay, so I think I'm actually at 19.04, but this still gets the right idea. Okay. Okay, create the SCC. So basically I'm just doing this thing. So let's copy and paste that command into here. And it seems like it went fine with no error. So let's keep going. So we need to reload our package database, so that way make sure that any changes we just made to our list of where Ubuntu is going to look for packages has been updated. So paste. That way it has the most up-to-date place to go find the Mongo package. So that's going to take a second. So I'm going to pause this while that finishes. Okay, so that is done, going and updating the packages. So now step 4, now we're going to actually install MongoDB. So sudo apt-get install. So just copy this here. Paste that into there. And it's going to do the thing. So it's doing the thing. Doing the thing. Guess I'll pause it for that to finish up as well. Okay, so that is done. So that's all installed. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now, just so you know, here in the documentation, here they have this if you want to like freeze the version, so that way it doesn't upgrade later on. I'm going to let Mongo upgrade, so I'm not going to set those settings. And then here's just some other information about things that you may want to know. So let's see here. Most Unix-like operating systems limit the number of resources. I'm not going to worry about that now. If you install Mongo via the package manager, directory var libmongo and the log directory are created during the installation, so that should be all set up. By default, MongoDB runs using the MongoDB user account. If you change the user that runs the MongoDB process, so also modify the permission. Okay, so that's not a big deal. It's kind of like same thing happens in Postgres with Linux, that it creates like this Postgres user. You have to use that kind of access it, so that's fine. Okay, follow these steps to run MongoDB Community Edition system. These instructions assume that you are using the official MongoDB org package, not the unofficial MongoDB package provided by Ubuntu, and are using the default settings. Well, we are using the official package. So to run and manage your Mongo process, you'll be using your operating system's built-in initialization system. Okay, so that's gonna be this. Okay, so let's try it out. Sudo system control start. So I hit this, paste. Okay. If you receive an error similar to the one following below. Okay, let's see here. You can start MongoDB if you receive an error similar to the following when run the following command. But nope, it did fine. So now we're gonna verify that it is running. So I'm gonna run this command. And look, it's running. MongoDB is running. Yes. See, active, running. Good. So that's good. Okay, you can optionally ensure that MongoDB will start following a system reboot by issuing the following command. I'm not going to do that because I do not want it to start up on reboot. I did bookmark this page, so that way if I do need to, when I restart my computer, I can just turn it on. Actually, what I'm going to do, while I'm on that, I'm going to put that in my notes. Okay, where I put all my little commands that I use a lot. Oh, but even though that one's pretty easy to remember, but let's put it there because I'm sure I'll need it here and there. Okay. Verify the MongoDB has started successfully. We did that. Stop MongoDB. I'm going to save that one as well. So that way when I'm not using Mongo, I can stop it. Because oftentimes one of the reasons I restarted my computer is because I would have like Postgres, Mongo, all these background services just constantly running. Because I set them all to start up at the startup, and it was just really, really slowing things down. So I'm going to be more careful about that. Okay, and I might as well keep the restart as well. Why not? So let me copy that command here, so that way I have it for easy access. So now to begin using MongoDB, okay, is type Mongo. So let's do that. Mongo. What? Oh. So I have to quit out of this. There we go. Mongo. See if it works. And there I am. I'm in the Mongo console. Okay. So, and verify started, but it did start, so I'm already in the command line. It's all fine. Mongo. There we go. And then yeah, now I'm in the CLI. So now I'm just be doing CLI commands. So that's it. I got Mongo installed. Very cool. Okay, and then in the next coming videos, we'll actually go over how to use the CLI and start working with the Mongo database. And I didn't even actually explain what Mongo is yet. So let me do that real quick first. Mongo is a database. It's what's called a NoSQL database or a flat file database. What's different is that most databases like MariaDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, all these things, they're SQL or SQL databases. And the SQL databases, they keep track of relationships. So you can actually say, hey, this information on this table is related to this information on this table, and have them like auto-update each other. But this has certain limitations when you start getting to huge amounts of data. Okay, as far as scalability, there's ways to overcome those issues, of course. That's why they're still sort of the main way of doing things. But a flat file database or a NoSQL database like MongoDB, what they do is that instead of having these databases, these tables that have relationships with each other, basically the data is being saved as like pure text. Okay, which means that it can store, it takes up a lot less space. As far as hard drive space, it loads quicker and just moves quicker because you're basically just moving text. And MongoDB is unique in the sense that the way it stores that text data is in the JSON format. Okay, so which is the JavaScript object notation. So the data is very similar to like a JavaScript object, which makes it a really nice companion with like Node and JavaScript, because you're already using JavaScript. So JSON just seems like a very natural way to store data. So that's why sort of MongoDB has kind of become probably the most popular NoSQL solution that I'm aware of today. And a lot of NoSQL solutions have kind of moved to storing data as JSON. That's just become the standard versus like the previous standard, which was XML. Which just, basically looked kind of like HTML, but it was just more, it took more characters because you had the opening and closing tags. So it took up more space. While when you're using like a JavaScript object, you just say a key. So like name colon the value, versus like an XML, you'd have to be like name tag and then the name, then closing name tag. So JSON became sort of the standard and is currently still the standard. So that's an introduction to Mongo. This is installing Mongo. In the next few videos, again, we will go over the Mongo CLI some more. Ciao.